All right, well, welcome. This is Jeff at the Big Hairy Dog, and this is a webinar on Crunch Reports. If you guys have a question, please just drop it in the chat there, or if you want, raise your hand, or I can unmute you, either way, depending on what you want to do. The webinar is being recorded and will be sent out afterwards. You should be seeing the Crunch login screen on my shared screen here. I'm going to go ahead and log in. I got a couple of machines set up here that and of course I've logged into this like 6 times and it didn't give me a pause anytime till now, but that's all right. This is the there's 2 different ways to log into Crunch, so I thought I would give you a quick walkthrough on the admin console real quick. So this is a little virtual machine that's really blank. It has no data in it, so it's not going to be much fun. The other one's not much more fun, but it's got more data than this one. So in here, if we can get our little menu to work here. This is when you first install it. This is where you would go in and set up your users and their roles, and then the database settings. So when you first install it, it doesn't know where it's connecting to. So you have to go tell it what the machine name is or how to connect to the Oracle database. Your email settings, which I don't have set in here right now, but this is where you would set up your email so it knows how to get there. Category settings, so you can rename categories in here. You can go in and redo the default names. The default names are not great. Account settings is just changing your password. Maintenance is just importing and exporting reports out. So you can import, there's a bunch of reports that Retail Pro provides that aren't in the base install that we can import through this avenue here. And then if you make a bunch of reports that you really like, you can also export those out. And it's strongly recommended that you do export them out and have them. If you take a lot of time and you create something really cool, then you want to back it up. You want to export it out and have a copy you can restore should you need to, right? And of course, updating your software and then log out, right? That's really all we're going to do on this virtual machine here. So let's pop it down to the other machine I have set up. And what we see here is after I just logged in, this one here has been set up a little bit more with the dashboards. So it brings you to your dashboards, which we'll circle back and get to those in a bit. We're going to start fairly simple and walk through some basics here so we can see if we like this thing or not, right? So on the top, we got a menu. We got 3 dashboards, actually. I should have probably pointed that out. There's 3 dashboards up here, and the other 2 are not set up, so there's no point in clicking into them. But there's 3 dashboards, 6 places, slots on each. So we got a menu in the upper left, reports, dashboards, schedules, account settings, and log out. We're going to click into reports. And in reports, these are my reports. These are ones that either I've created or someone's created here, or where they were imported after the fact. This here is like other reports. So these come when you install it. These come already installed, ready to go. So let's start with a quick quick run, right? So the quick run is this double button over here. It's just right there. So in the menu, you can just click on the double button and it just fires. So there's a report, and I can make this panel go away, right? If I want to just play with the report, I can go either way on that. I move stuff around, so like I don't really like UPC here, so I'm going to drag it out of the way and put it somewhere else, right? I can put it wherever I want to. Same with ALU here. If I wanted to move that over, I can move it over. Now I've got my department code, which I should be able to widen. So I can see my department code, my description too. I can also right-click these columns, and I can take things away. So description 2 doesn't look that exciting. I'm going to drop that out. I don't really care about last received date right now. Let's drop that out. And while we're at it, let's drop UPC so we can get down to some stuff, right? So all right, so now in sorting, you can sort. Obviously, I can click on any column and sort, right? Either way. So if I sort it and I want to do a secondary sort, I can hold down the Shift key and add another layer, right, to that sort. So I can sort by as many fields here as I want to click on, right? So now I'm sorted by department, within that department by the description, within the description by the black comes before red, right? B comes before R within the style. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Obviously, these little things at the top here are all searching things. So if I wanted to find all things red, right, I could just type in red and or delete that out, put it back, right? So you can pretty much search by any column. And I really probably should have sorted first by store, then by department, right? Then by description, and then by color. Anyway, all right. We can also, let's go back to our little report here. We can group some stuff. So we've got stores and we've got departments in here, right? So we can say, I want to make an aggregate. I want to make a total, and I want to do it by store. I don't think I did that right. Total, right. I want a total sold quantity. And I think that's it right there. Okay. Oh, I see. Silly me. Okay, group by store number. And then select what you want to do. On hand, total, sold quantity, apply. Yeah, you forget to put the grouping in, it gets awkward. So I have to apologize for that. All right, so now we've set up basically subtotals, right? So you can expand those or collapse those as needed. So we can drop this out now and we can see those different numbers, right? I can move this over. I can put the sold next to the sold extended price there, and we could have added extended price into that grouping if we wanted. All right, so still no questions. All right, everybody's still there, not asleep yet, hopefully. We can export this. So at the top, there's a little button that shows that we can export it. If we click right there, we get the options. I do not have Excel or PDF Adobe installed in here. So we could click on it, but it's just going to spin and go nowhere. If we were, and I'm going to get that fixed, but if we were to click on Excel, it would just download at the bottom of the web page. It would be like you downloaded an Excel file from a website. It would drop into the downloads folder with a name, and you'd just be able to click on the little drop down and say show in folder, and you'd have your Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so let's click on this button up here. So this is the button that allows us to set up a pivot table. So the little wand there basically lets us set up a pivot table on the report. So let's add DCS here and description 1 and description 2 and attribute and item size, which will get, I don't know if it gets you, but it gets me. I keep looking for size in alphabetically in the S's, and it's in the I's. It's the item size. And let's move DCS back up to the top here, if we can. There we go. And on the top, let's get store code. And let's see here. All right, so now my stores are showing on the right, and I'm going to add a sum of come on. All right, there's on hand. And we could keep clicking add and add other ones here, right? But this should have our on hands in there. I'm not seeing them. And while we're waiting for that, again, we don't have Excel on here. And with a little bit faster, this PC is a little bit old, but and it's just a standalone install. But once you have your pivot table and you have your quantities showing, which mine don't seem to be showing here, on the top here, there's a export data summary table. So you could click this little thing and it will try and export it out to Excel as well and save it as a file. Actually, it's doing just that. Yeah, I don't know that we're actually getting a file though. Again, I don't have Excel on here, so there's a export right there. But again, it's not showing as an Excel. It is an XLS, but it's not showing as an Excel icon, and I don't know if it's got any data in it. But the point is that you can do pivot tables right here in the reports, and you can export them out. Let's go back to the main menu here and click on reports. And that will just erase all the work we've been playing with there. All right, so now you can also run a report. Let's go back to other reports and click on a report. And if you click on a report, you can run a report using the run button. So this is the more formal way to run a report. By clicking on the little arrow here, it pops up and shows you the report. And let's choose to add a filter to this one. You don't have to, I could just click run and it would go, right? But I'm gonna choose to make a filter here. So we're gonna add sales date filter. And we're going to click this little gear box on the right. There's some things in here already, but I want to walk through building one, right? So I'm going to call this sales date, and we're going to We're going to select date, and let's say we want this year. And we're going to save that and circle around and come in fresh now. Click run. Click sales stage filter, and I should have in here, I probably shouldn't have done that with an S, huh? Sales date should be in there, right? So now I've saved a filter that I want to be able to grab and use, on the fly, basically. Now at runtime here, I could in fact go back in there and say, well, I would like to modify this, and I want to just make it be between, and I want to pick my two values, right? So I'm just going to back this up. I have probably no data in here significantly, so let's back it up. We'll go back to 2016 and pick a day, and we'll just pick a day here and click save and run. Right. See, so if the more generic filters you set up, and you can set up as many as you want, and certainly it's recommended that you set up different filters, so you can just say, look, a sales date filter, give me the year to date, give me the month to date, give me the last 3 months, whatever you want to do, right? Okay. All right, let's talk about visualizing a report. So let's back out of here, go back to reports. We're fresh again. And let's go into here, and let's come down to, I played around with this. I have a lot of sales, but I only have sales for one store. So I was looking at maybe doing on hand for this one. So we had a report that was Prism sales, sales and on hand by department and style. Okay, in the little panel here, we have the little button that says visualize. So if we click the visualize button, it then brings you to the visualize screen where we can then say what we want to do. So I'm going to say store code by on hand, and I'm going to click a bar chart. And we have like a little tiny bit of on hand in this other store here. So we're going to change it now and go to DCS. And let's say do a pie chart. And are we getting our pie chart? There we go. So there's our pie chart, right? And if we click on a store, it changes. The pie chart should change to reflect each store, which are almost the same actually. They change. Oh, they change a little bit, yeah. So so you can click back and forth between stores and see differences. You can also click into a section, which will then change the store. So all the charts are related, basically, if that makes sense. So you can cross-analyze, or you can pull as many as you want, depending on the report and what's in the dimensions here. Where this only has 2 dimensions, but and of course it has other types of data too. We could have done sales, like we could start over here and other reports. Probably going to get myself in trouble because I didn't test all that. Sales, right? So we do that, and we said visualize, dimension, measure. All right, let's go on hand extended price by store, and then we can change that and do DCS and do. So that's really similar to the one we just did. I could come back to store now, and I could say, let's take a look at sold quantities. Right, see, all my sales are pretty much in one store, right? So anyway, you see some of the visualization tools that are available. Let's circle back around to the reports main menu, And now if you click on run, and at the run window here, maybe after doing your filter and stuff, you decide you want to visualize, there's a visualize button at the bottom here too. So you can just hop into the visualize button from there, and you have the same options that we just went through, right? Okay, so let's circle back around. Now, we can also schedule reports. So in each report, there's a little clock right here. So if we click on the clock, and then we say, you know, daily, for instance, you know, XL, select time, you know, I could select whatever time I want here. So maybe first thing in the morning, or maybe I'm running a report for yesterday and I want it to fire off at 6:30 a.m., right? I put in the email address that I want it to go to. We got to turn the email on. Right, and subject, you know, daily sales, and this is just, yeah, and on hand. And, you know, we put in something in the body if we want to, and then we click submit, and now let's go back to the schedules, and you should see there's the one we just scheduled, but there's another one. You can see all things scheduled, shall we say, in your scheduling section. All right. Okay, so let's add a report to the dashboard. So, okay, that's regular Prism. Let's go back to reports, and let's take a report. And on the top here, there's a little copy button, so we can click copy, and we can give this a name. So, that's close enough, right? And hopefully that little caret's going to put it at the top. We'll have to see here, right? All right, and if we come back around here to reports and go to my reports, do we have that in the menu? Apparently that caret drops it to the bottom. Interesting. All right, so all right, so on the new report, we got the quick run here, and then the little pencil. And I always get confused on the pencil, but the pencil is the edit, right? So we can click the pencil to get into edit mode. So it drops us into expert mode, which there's different modes in building reports. We're not going to go through all of those. We're not probably going to dive too deeply into the export section. So here, though, what we're going to do is click proceed, because we want to hop to the next section. So in here, we've got table options, alerts, and graphs. But what we're looking for here is a graph. So if we click add, we can select sold quantity and select a chart. And click save. It should say that this report already exists. We're going to say okay, yes. And report saved successfully. So let's circle back around. Let's see what happens if we run that. Did I not get the graph to save? Maybe I didn't, but I thought it said save successfully. Okay. Well, let's circle around and find out. Right, reports. Proceed. Apparently I didn't. Okay. Do I need a title here? Category, right, DCS, by sold quantity. Okay, that definitely says it was saved successfully. Huh. Yeah, all right. And it is still not working. All right, excellent. Let's just try, let's try this. Reports. Let's just go to sales summary. All right. We have a chart this time, nice. And save. Okay, report saved successfully. Circle back here and try that from here. Okay, that's really what I was supposed to do the first time, but I apologize. Had to do it, I guess, 3 times. Third time's a charm. Okay, so here on the top left corner, you've got the add to dashboard function. So then you can decide which dashboard you want to add this to. And if we go take a look at our dashboard, we should have that new one added here at the bottom to our dashboard. Okay. Now, when you're on the dashboard, like here, you can click the visualize button or the run button here. So for any of these reports that have been added to the dashboard, if you just wanted to dive in, you could click visualize and it goes right to that report, right? Or come on, dashboard. I could click run and it takes me to the run where I could now filter or visualize, right? Or just run. Any and all of my other choices would be available, right? Okay. All right, let's go try and build a simple report. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. I think we lost Sharon there, it looks like. All right, so at the top of the reports menu, we have a plus sign where we can just click the plus sign and open up and add a new report. So I'm going to pick sales, right? Keep it pretty simple. Output columns, let's choose, let's see here, DCS underscore D name. As department. And click the plus sign, of course, adds it to our report. And let's add, same thing, DCS underscore C, name, nice. Okay, let's get rid of that one. And let's call this class. And subclass. And let's get a couple of values. So let's get sold quantity. Document sold quantity as a sold quantity. And let's grab, I don't know, DCS margin value as DCS, no, let's just call it margin dollars. All right, so let's click let's proceed. And actually, let's go back here. Can we go back? Let's see, table options. Right, perfect. Excellent conditions. That's what I'm looking for. So I think we only want to see active departments here. So okay, value of, and in here we're going to set DCS underscore active. Okay. All right, fine. DCS active. All right, so value of DCS active. And here we could say not equal to literal value of 0, right? Or we could say equal to a value of 1, right? I mean, 6 and 1/2 dozen on that one, so proceed. And pretty weird naming. What is this? DCS. Sold quantity. So there we just built a report. Now obviously we could group this, right? I could group this by department and add totals for the values, right? We wanted to see that, and then we could see the breakdown by department. Not sure whose data this is. You could also set up alerts. We have the ability to set up alerts in here. Let's apply that, and added a chart to that real fast. Back to reports, slide down and find our report. And okay, what's going on there? Okay. All right, well, so do we have any questions about any of this stuff we've gone over here? Have you guys looked at Prism before or Crunch reports before? Does anything here or everything make sense? That's about all I have for today. It's about 20 minutes early from what we're supposed to be scheduled for, but I think that's all material I'm going to be going over today. So do you guys have any questions about Crunch, about Crunch reports or anything like that? All right, well, thank you very much. Thanks, Leslie, for sticking with me to the end there. And you guys have a good rest of your day. All right, bye-bye.